Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK back at you with another video here, predicting the 4-game NBA main slate on Tuesday. A couple things before I get into the video. If you're new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos talking about NBA DFS as well as NFL DFS. I'm also running a weekly $20 PayPal giveaway on my channel. How it works, all you have to do is leave a like and a comment in the video. That's one entry in the giveaway. Max one comment up per video. So it started with my Monday NBA video that I uploaded yesterday. We'll go throughout the week. I'll end on my Monday NBA video at the end of the week, Monday night. So however many videos I've uploaded for the week, you can end the giveaway that many times. So I have 10 videos uploaded for the week. You can end the giveaway 10 times. And again, the winner sees $20 PayPal for myself. With that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So first, look back at my lineup here from Monday night. So this is my final lineup with Brogdon, Teague, Jason Tatum, Porzingis, Nance, Fox, Bruce Brown, and DeAndre Ayton. So looking like a pretty solid night right now. So I'll give you guys my core plays on stream. So the core plays were Porzingis. I mean, he was super chalk, right? 66% owned in this tournament. But if you didn't have him, you were not going to win. So he was literally a must. 59 fancy points. And then Jason Tatum. You know, I liked a lot of those Boston guys. Tatum was the cheapest, so I rolled with him. 45 fancy points at, I believe, 7.5K. And then Larry Nance, once he got announced starting, I had to go there. He was 5.4, just too cheap for a starting center. Then it was probably need over 30 minutes in a good spot. He had 39 fancy points. And then DeAndre Ayton, absolutely crushing. I know he was kind of chalky too, right? But if you didn't have Ayton, if you didn't have Porzingis, you're going to lose, right? So sure, these guys were chalkier, but yeah, Ayton smashed it, 7.7K, 60 fancy points. He headed to the locker room a bit too. He missed out on a few minutes, but and then I rolled with Bruce Brown, De'Aaron Fox, and Jeff T was also my core. So, well, it was originally Wanamaker, and then once he got announced not starting, I pivoted to Teague. And Wanamaker is still solid. I was actually a bit tilted at first because Teague wasn't doing that good, and Wanamaker was like crushing off the bench. I was like, really? I just pivoted off Wanamaker to I was getting pretty pissed. But then Teague had a big fourth quarter, 35 fancy points. I believe he was at under 4K. That was really solid there too. The one thing I am kind of I think I made a mistake here in my lineup is playing Malcolm Brogdon. 6.3K was cheap. He was a safe play, but I don't know if he was a play that had, the big upside, right? And I'm kicking myself for not playing one of either Draymond or Burks. I originally had Draymond in my lineup. I was trying to get Burks in. I was trying to do it on stream, and I was trying to get Nance and Burks in my lineup on stream, and I was trying to answer all you guys' questions. I was just like, I couldn't make a lineup that I was confident in, so I just stuck with Brogdon. But I really should have played one of either Draymond or Burks. You guys knew. I even tweeted about it. I was like, I love Burks and Draymond. But yeah, I mean, Brogdon was okay. It just, I knew Draymond and I knew Burks especially had the most upside. I talked about that. D'Lo out. Burks is the guy that usually takes over. He did. I think he had over 40 fancy points at 5.4K. So I'm definitely kicking myself for not going Burks there. But yeah, then Bruce Brown again. Once even with Reggie Jackson playing, they were pretty shorthanded. He was pretty high owned as well. But yeah, all in all, I think it's gonna be a pretty solid night. Fox is pretty low owned here right now. I'm about 15 to 20 points off the money in this tournament. So as long as Fox is a decent night, I think I'm gonna set to cash. I don't think it's gonna be like a huge night because Brogdon wasn't amazing, but definitely think I should be able to get in the cash here for this tournament. Hope you guys all had a good cashing out as well. I've been getting some DMs from people. It looks like people are having really good lineups with that core. So yeah, hopefully you guys had a good night, and let's see if we can keep it rolling here for this short 4-game slate. And this slate is a really interesting slate. A lot of different ways we can go. Let me refresh Bovada so we can look at some over-unders and spreads that are out right now. Yeah, so the Spurs-Clippers game, that's the game tonight. 4 games, they're all out right now. We have Bucks-Pelicans, 245 over-under. The Bucks are 6.5-point favorites. We have the Hornets and the Rockets right now. Looks like the over-under's off the table, but the Rockets are 14-point favorites. And we have Westbrook doubtful, too. That's, for Houston being that big of favorites without Westbrook is a little surprising. I know Charlotte isn't that good, but 14 points seems a little bit high to me. And then Portland and Denver, 224, 4.5-point spread. That one should be fun to watch. It's been, Lillard has just been insane these last couple of weeks. And Spurs, Lakers, 229. Lakers are 12-point favorites. A little bit of blowout risk there, as well as the Rockets-Hornets game. But, okay, let me make sure I get to the right slate here. 4 games. And then, guys, so usually on these smaller slates, I mean, I've really been sticking to GPPs anyway, like single-entry GPPs. But on the small slates especially, I like to get a little bit riskier and take some shots. This is a slate where I'll talk about it, but there's a lot of different ways you can go. There's a lot of good spend-ups. There's actually some good, I think Stars and Scrubs is going to be the popular build today, whereas the mid-tier is going to be more contrarian. But I think you can go either way. There's solid plays in the mid-tier too. I'll talk about some value guys in a bit too. But yeah, let's just jump into it. We'll start at center today. And we have Nikola Jokic right now at 10K. Denver is, let me go to Denver really quick. We still have, as I believe Michael Porter Jr. already ruled out. He is already ruled out for this game. We have no Paul Millsap and no Mason Plumlee. The big news is the status of Jamal Murray, right? He is currently listed as questionable. If he can't go, then Denver is going to be really shorthanded again. Jokic and Barton would really stand out. We could look at some other value plays. But, so certainly something to keep an eye on with Jamal Murray. I don't really think that affects Jokic too much. I still think Jokic is going to play big minutes. Right? They're pretty shorthanded in the front court. And he's flashed some big upside here. So he's one of many spend-ups that I'm considering on the slate. Anthony Davis is at 9.3. This is just too cheap for AD. If you played him that other night against Sacramento, you got unlucky. The game blew out. He did not get any fourth quarter run. If he plays the fourth quarter and plays like 39 minutes, he would have crushed that salary. Right? He's still got value, 40 fancy points in 3 quarters. But that's kind of the concern here. It's a really good spot against San Antonio, but it's a 12-point spread. There's a decent chance this game could blow out. So that is a risk rostering Anthony Davis, but I really like him at this price. If this game stays close, I think he could crush that salary. Whiteside, I think, is a bit more contrarian at 8.5K just because there's so many good spend-ups. Harden with most likely no Westbrook. We have Giannis against Houston, right? So those two, I think, are going to eat up most of the ownership at the top. And then, again, you have like Jokic. We'll talk about other guys. But Whiteside at 8.5, it makes it tricky to get to him, right? Like, I think he's going to be very low owned. I can still see him having an upside game. And we know Denver, they're playing Jokic big minutes right now. I don't think like Caleb Swanigan is going to be able to hang with Jokic. So Whiteside, as long as he stays out of foul trouble, is probably out there whenever Jokic is. So, and he's going to go super, super low owned tonight. But I could still see him getting you there. It's just more of a contrarian option in my opinion. We have Capella once again ruled out. So it looks like we're going to get PJ Tucker and Thabo Cephalosha at center once again. Zion Williamson, right? So this is one of the plays where I like a good amount in the mid-range. 7.1K, 27, 30, 29 in a blowout, and 33 in the last game against Houston. So those minutes are ticking up. Looks like he's basically off his minutes restriction. This game is 245 over-under, right? So you're going to want some pieces. Oh, wait, that's Milwaukee, New Orleans, right? Yeah, Milwaukee, New Orleans, 245. You're going to want some pieces to this game for sure. And again, his minutes are going up. I like Zion a good amount here in the mid-range. I really do. I think that the tough part is there's a lot of solid Pelicans, but they're all priced like right around the same range. So you're gonna have to make some tough choices because Zion's like the same price as Ingram, as Drew, as Lonzo. Are very, very similar. I think Zion probably has the most upside. We haven't really seen a huge game from him yet, but maybe this is his breakout game at 7.1K. Aldridge, another guy that I think is solid in the mid-range. They're really tempting me at 6.2K. I know it's a bad spot, but 6.2 seems really, really cheap for Aldridge. So yeah, he's one of those guys that's certainly viable there as a cheaper option. Jeremy Grant at 5.7 is playing big minutes. I like him in the mid-tier. 45 that last game now did go to overtime, but still he's getting backup center run. He's playing a lot at the 4 with no Millsap, no Plumlee. He's getting big minutes. We know Portland plays at a pretty fast pace. This game should be an up-tempo game for Denver, so I think he's pretty solid in the mid-range. Brook Lopez, my boy, won me a tournament on Sunday. He wasn't that high owned. I think he was like only 30% owned. 9 blocks, though. Definitely an anomaly game. I do not see Brook Lopez getting 9 blocks again. This is a good spot for sure, but 5.3 for Brook Lopez. I'd probably look elsewhere. I liked him there when he's 3.9K. Now, Cody Zeller does intrigue me at 5.2. His stats aren't, they haven't updated yet from the game tonight, but he played, I believe, 27 minutes, which is good to see. He's getting some pretty consistent minutes. Looks like it's kind of him and Hernangomez now splitting the center minutes. The concern is that Houston is going to run small ball, right? They basically don't want to play Hartenstein. We've seen it. Obviously, Capella's out. They're just going to run like PJ Tucker, Thabo, Cephalosha. So does Charlotte keep Cody Zeller out there, or do they try to match the small ball Houston, right? I don't know. If they try to stick Zeller out there and play him like 25, 30 minutes, I think he could really have upside at this price, but it just worries me with Houston going small ball. Favors a guy like in the cheaper range. I think is pretty solid. He's not going to play huge minutes with Zion, now healthy, but we probably get low to mid 20s minutes at 4.9. I could see him getting 25, 30 fancy points. PJ Washington is out, so we got to keep an eye on his status for tomorrow. Let's see. Again, PJ Tucker. You guys know the risk playing PJ Tucker. He is just like, you play him, he plays 40 minutes and he can get you like 10 fancy points, or every once in a while he will have a bit, like he can put up 30, 40 fancy points on a good night when he's like knocking out threes, right? We saw 32 in this game against Utah. The PJ Tucker can have big games, but he's just such a frustrating player because he's always out there, but he doesn't do anything. And he's going to play the center, which should boost his appeal, but he also played center against the Pelicans, and his final stat line was 9 rebounds, no assist, no blocks, 1 steal, 1 turnover, no points, right? So it's like, you know what you're getting into Tucker. Like he's viable for sure. He's going to play big minutes, but every once in a while he'll have a big game. You got to hope you get lucky and hope like PJ Tucker knocks down those corner threes. Dwight Howard at 4.3. So the minutes have been kind of trending down for him, but the prices also came way down too, right? So he's a riskier punt option. I'm okay with it, I guess. Jakob Poeltl at 4K. Now, this actually does intrigue me here because we know the Lakers run big, right, with McGee, with Dwight Howard, with Anthony Davis. I wonder if the Spurs try to match it and start Jakob Poeltl at the 5 with Aldridge at the 4. If they do, if they start Jakob Poeltl, I would have a good amount of interest in him. He's a pretty solid point per minute guy, just looking at, recent game logs. So definitely something to keep an eye on there with the status, or, with their starting lineup. Ersan with Giannis back. I mean, he probably gets like 15 or so minutes, 3.9K. I guess you can consider him. Now, Hernangomez, this is interesting. So he got let me pull up Charlotte's minutes from tonight. Let's see. Come on. ESPN just crashed. Hold on. Give me 1 sec, guys. But yeah, it was Cody Zeller and Hernangomez that played the center. Let's see. So, they ran a 9-man rotation. Batum did not play. Biyombo did not play. MKG did not play. Bridges started to play 35 minutes. Cody Zeller started to play 27. Terry Rozier started to play 35. Graham started to play 36, right? That's pretty normal. Those guys usually get mid-30s minutes in close games. Dwayne Bacon started, only played 18 minutes. And then we had Marvin Williams got dusted off for 18 minutes. Cody Martin played 28 minutes. Shot the ball 6 of 6. Had a solid game, but it's good to see he got some decent run. Willie Hernangomez, 21 minutes. So he's seen 19, 20, 18, and then 21 minutes. If we're going to get, about 20 minutes from Hernangomez in a really up-tempo game, I think he really stands out as a solid value play. Again, my concern with him and Cody Zeller is Houston is going to run small ball. So does Charlotte match that and maybe limit Hernangomez, limit Zeller? It's a possibility, but if we get 20 minutes from Hernangomez here at this price, I think he really stands out as a solid value play. And then Malik Monk also got 22 minutes off the bench. Another I think, viable cheap option here is Javale Mcgee. Not going to play big minutes. He's kind of like a Vicha Zubac, right? We're going to get about 15 to 20 minutes, but he is a guy that, on a good night, can have 25-plus fantasy points. Spurs, not very good defensively, so I'm okay with Javale Mcgee at 3.5K. Again, I think this slate is gearing up more towards stars and scrubs just because we got Harden with the Westbrook. We have Giannis against the Pelicans. But there's also the mid-tier build, which a lot of those Pelicans guys, we'll talk about some more mid-tier guys too. But this slate is really interesting because I like both builds. And there's a lot of different ways you can go. So it's going to be a really, really good 4-game slate in my opinion. But that basically wraps up for centers. Let's move on to power forward. We have Giannis at the top at only 11.4 in a 245 over-under against the Pelicans who play no defense. Yeah. So it's going to be hard to fade Giannis for sure, right? And it's going to be hard to fade Harden. So that's why I think like those two are going to eat up a lot of ownership today, or tomorrow, I should say. But yeah, really, Giannis really stands out as a good spend up at 11.4K. We're going to get low 30s minutes from him in a good game. It's just a smash spot here. So you got to like Giannis there as a spend up. Let's see. Again, so Brandon Ingram. I already talked about Zion. Brandon Ingram. Him and Drew Holiday. It's been good to see they have flash upside. He had 38 minutes, 49 fantasy points. So it's good to see that he can still have upside games. Again, 245 over under. You're going to want some pieces of this game. If you want to save money and go with a couple of these like mid-range Pelicans guys, I don't hate that idea. I think Ingram does have a good amount of upside. Again, don't mind Aldridge. Don't mind Jeremy Grant. Carmelo at 5.5. Fine. Again, if you want to go more mid-tier, I'm not super excited about that, but I get it. Melo can get hot behind the three-point line. Bridges. So Miles Bridges actually has been getting good run again. He got 35 minutes. He got 34 and 37 the last couple games with no PJ Washington. He's been solid. He has. If PJ Washington is out, I think you actually can consider Bridges here at 5.3K in an up-tempo game. Danuel House. So he's gonna get some good minutes. Houston's gonna run a really thin rotation. Like I would not be surprised if they run a 7-man rotation, maybe 8. But House is a guy that's gonna get some good minutes. 5.1. I think he is in play. I would just prefer Eric Gordon. We have Eric Gordon at a very similar price to House, who I think I like the upside a little bit more with Eric Gordon. Let's see, Kuzma at 4K. We probably get mid-20s minutes from him. I'm fine going here as a value play. He is a guy that can have upside if he shoot. He had 17 and 15 that game against Portland. That is definitely an outlier, but Kuzma is a guy that's going to shoot the ball when he's out there. So 4K, good matchup. I'm fine going with him as a value option. Rudy Gay 3.6. I don't think I can do it. With Aldridge back, only played 6 minutes, so probably can't go there. Trey Lyles is like a dart throw at 3.3. The minutes are so up and down on him, but again, the Lakers run big, so you could see maybe Trey Lyles get extended a bit to mid-20s minutes. I'm okay taking a shot on him as a value player. You're not going to feel great about that. A guy like Thabo Cephalosha is going to get the backup center run. He's gotten 14 and 18 minutes the last couple of games. That's more of a dart throw option as well. Let's see. Hernan Gomez at 3.1 has meaning a little minutes, but not enough for me to consider him. And Marvin Williams at min price. It's gross, I know, but he got, 18 minutes. It's in the category of, that dart throw range right down here. You're not going to feel great about playing any of these guys, but they will allow you to get Hardens, the Giannis's, the Jokic's in your lineups. If you want to go that route, right? I think you can go that route, or you could go more of the mid-tier. Small forward, we have LeBron at 10.1. I think he's more contrarian spend up, to be honest. Again, Giannis, Harden, those are going to be the two chalk plays of the night. LeBron at 10.1 is viable. Again, the concern with him is there's a chance the game could blow out. I would probably prefer getting Anthony Davis at 9.3K compared to LeBron, but I also think people are going to think the same way. So you're probably going to get LeBron at much lower ownership compared to AD. Either way, I don't think either of those guys are going to be super high owned again because Giannis, Harden, I really think those guys are going to eat up all the ownership. DeMar DeRozan, I'll probably pass a 7.7. He's been decent, but I just don't know if he has huge upside on this slate. Middleton is a guy that you could go to in the mid tier. He's been solid even with Giannis playing. 76. That was a game where Giannis missed, but 40 and 46 fantasy points the last couple of games, even with Giannis playing. So Middleton has upside, and again, you could definitely build a pretty solid mid-tier lineup here. So I'm okay getting to Middleton if you want to go with more of that approach. Again, Barton, another one of those guys in the mid-tier I really like at 6.5, especially if Jamal Murray can't go. If Jamal Murray can't go, we're going to get mid-30s minutes from Barton. He's got 36, 34, 37 minutes the last 3 games. I know the game went to overtime, but still, he would be a guy I would definitely look to in the mid-range if Jamal Murray can't go. Eric Gordon, I like a good amount of 5.3K. He's going to be the number 2 with Harden in the offense. Obviously the 70 fantasy point game was with no Harden and Westbrook, but the upside is there with him. He is A little bit scoring dependent at times, for sure. That is the downside, but he's going to have to do more offensively with no Westbrook, for sure. Ariza's okay at 4.8, probably not for me. Hart had a good game, but his price went up to 4.7. He has been in decent runs, so I'm okay with it. I just feel like it's chasing a little bit going to him at 4.7. So JJ Redick was got the short end of the stick, got in foul trouble, only played 14 minutes. I think we normally get minutes into the 20s from JJ Redick, but it obviously makes it risky to target him when he's only got 17 and 14 minutes the last couple of games. But he is a guy, right? If he gets like 25 or so minutes, he can get you 25, 30 fantasy points if he's knocking down his threes. Now, Cody Martin is actually interesting as a value option here. Okay, so the stat lines finally came in for the game tonight. He's played 23, 28, and 28 minutes the last couple games, 22, 14, 34 fantasy points. Now, he did shoot the ball 6 of 6, but he's getting consistent run, and he's 3.5K. This is an up-tempo game. I think he's in that tier of those cheap guys that you could definitely take a shot on for sure. Macklemore, he's going to get more run with no Westbrook. I think he's a viable punt option. We probably get mid-20s minutes from him at 3.4K. KCP, as gross as that sounds, he can knock down some threes, right? Craig at 3.3. Probably not for me. Now, Connaughton has been getting some decent run with no George Hill. DiVincenzo's back, but he still got 20 minutes at last game, so I think we probably get, about 20 from Connaughton. He's throw him in that pool of value guys you can take a shot on for sure. Yeah, so Bacon started, right, but only played, well, it hasn't loaded for him yet, but he played 18 minutes, was pretty bad. He can have upside games in him. I think he's had, like a 34 fantasy point game, a 24 fantasy point game if he gets the run. So if he starts again, I guess you can consider him at min price. But that's basically it for small forward, so let's move on to shooting guard. And Harden at the top at 12K against Charlotte with no Russell Westbrook. He is going to be the chalk. Even at this price, we've just seen massive games from Harden. Last couple games, 75 and 73 fantasy points. He's finally turned the corner after a slow 2-week stretch for Harden, and we have no Westbrook. So his upside is through the roof. We know he's going to shoot the ball a ton, and he's going to be the chalk, right? So if I'm playing cash games, I probably start my lineup with Harden and with Giannis. But there is a lot of different ways you can go. Again, I'll talk about kind of that build. I'll talk about the mid-tier build and kind of the guys I would target. Drew Holiday, again, it seems like everyone is priced exactly the same as for the starters for the Pelicans. He's 6.9K. He kind of had an off game, but we've seen 42, 57, and 41 in previous games, a 245 over-under, right? So, again, you're going to want some pieces to that game. Now we get the Charlotte guards. So this is a really up-tempo game for them. We have, it's not, the over-under's not out yet, but if Charlotte's going to stay in this game, it's probably going to be because of Rozier or Graham or even Bridges. One or two of those guys probably have a good game. He's been pedestrian the last few games, but Rozier is a guy that does have the upside, right? We've seen 50+ from Rozier. This is a game where he breaks out. He's been very up and down, but we know the upside is there. Houston does not play a whole lot of defense, and a 6.4K for a guard that we probably get 35 minutes from. I think he is very much in play there in the mid-range. CJ at 6.3, I think is a safe option. I don't know if he has huge upside with the way Lillard's playing right now. Malik Monk at 4.3, right? He's been getting some decent run off the bench. 23, 27, 32, 22. He's a viable punt. DiVincenzo too. He's been getting about low to mid 20s minutes. Again, 245 over under. He's viable. Those San Antonio guards with Mills, Forbes, White, DeJounte Murray. You can always it always seems like at least one of those guys has a solid game. Just trying to pick out which one it is on a night-to-night basis is so hard. Gary Harris at 3.8. He's been really bad. You are getting him at a pretty cheap price. We probably get over 30 minutes from Gary Harris, but man, he has been really, really bad. Austin Rivers is he missed practice. This is actually somewhat significant because he was playing. He plays about 25 or so minutes. If he can't go, then does Chris Clemens enter the rotation? Does someone else enter the rotation? Do they just run like a 6 or 7-man rotation and extend like Macklemore more and Thabo Sefolosha more, right? So this is actually somewhat significant news with the status of Austin Rivers. Malik Beasley at 3.3. I think he is definitely in play as a punt option if Jamal Murray can't go. If Jamal Murray plays, I would be worried about the minutes for Beasley. But the last 3 games, 24, 27, and 24 minutes, he's been pretty solid. We know like this guy, he's going to shoot the ball when he's out there too. 8, 12, 9 shot attempts when he's out when the last 3 games. So I definitely have my eye on Beasley, especially if Jamal Murray can't go. And that basically wraps it up. So let's move on to point guard. Lillard. So he is, in my opinion, I think he's just going to go low on tonight. But just look what he's done, right? 84, 70, 82, 79 fantasy points, 50, 36, 48, 51 real-life points. Games before that, 47 and 61 real-life points. He is just on an absolute tear right now. Denver is pretty short-handed. So I know Gary Harris is a solid defender, but they're not the same defensive team with all those injuries. I think Lillard is definitely in play for GPPs. He has just been absolutely amazing, and I don't think he's gonna be that high owned. Again, I think everyone's gonna play Harden, everyone's gonna play Giannis, but you can definitely pivot to Lillard, who has been amazing here at 10.3K. Westbrook, and he's doubtful. Don't expect him to go. So Harden again gets a huge boost. Let's see, Devonte Graham at 6.8 is kind of in the same tier as Rozier. He's been not very good recently, but he can have upside games too, right? 40, 50 fantasy points. I'm okay with him, but probably not going to be the way that I go. Lonzo Ball, again, it really seems like everyone is priced exactly the same for the Pelicans. He's had 41, 30, 40, and 47 fantasy points the last 4 games. I don't think Zion being healthy affects Lonzo. Again, I think you could almost make the argument it helps him just because more alley-oops to Zion. It helps his assists. Lonzo's a guy that's not going to score the ball a ton. He's going to get those peripheral stats, the rebounds, the assist. So I have a good amount of interest there in Lonzo in a 245 over/under. Let's see, Bledsoe a little bit more contrarian, but again, he's viable as a mid-tier build. Jamal Murray, he's been out for a while since January 15th. So definitely something to keep an eye on. If he plays, he's probably going to be limited, so I couldn't go there. But if he misses, then we can consider those value guards, kind of like a guy like Malik Beasley right at 3.3K. Monte Morris would probably start for him. He's been getting some decent run. I would be okay with him at 5.9, but actually probably not. Like 5.9K for Morris. He can still get you there, but probably wouldn't be the way that I go. DeJounte Murray at 5K. 30 and 27 minutes. Again, like one of either him, Mills, Forbes, or Derek White are going to have a good game. Let's see. Rondo's minutes have been way up and down. 23, 15, 14, 27. Just more of a dart throw for GPPs. Obviously, if he gets like 25 plus, I would like him, but you just don't know. Again, no George Hill, so that should be a little bit more run for DiVincenzo, a guy like Pat Connaughton. But, that basically wraps it up. So, again, this is a really, really interesting 4-game slate. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. I think the popular build is going to be this, right? It's going to be Harden, and it's going to be... Where's Giannis? Is Giannis not small forward? Oh, they have only us as power forward. Okay. So I think that is going to be a really popular build to start those 2 spend-ups. But it's really hard to argue getting away from those guys if you're playing cash games. But, again, there's a lot of different ways you can go. If you don't want to go with those 2 chalk guys, you have Jokic, you have Dame Lillard, who has big upside, or you can go more with a balanced approach, right? Like all these Pelicans guys. I think those guys have a lot of upside, 245 or under. I'm okay getting to Middleton, who's been solid even with Giannis playing. I'm okay getting to Will Barton, I think is a pretty solid play. You could target one of those Charlotte guards in a really up-tempo game. Aldridge seems too cheap. Jeremy Grant, right? So I like both builds, and I'm a little bit undecided what I want to do, but I definitely think that Harden Giannis build is going to be pretty popular tomorrow. But I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. So if you have been enjoying the content, would really appreciate it if you'd like this video and subscribe. Again, just takes two seconds out of your day to hit the like button. Really, really helps me out. I will be live streaming for this 4-game slate, probably only about 30 minutes before lock, but be sure to check out the live stream. I'll give you guys my core plays and then I'll go over all the news that we get. I'll answer any questions you guys have. But yeah, thanks again for everyone to come in and check out the video, and I will see you guys all tomorrow in the live stream.